folks, welcome back for another episode of Our Journeys. We start this off. Old Salty's Assault hits the board. I didn't really know where else to go with that. It's a crab. It's the Old Salty's Assault. Hello, folks, welcome back for another episode of Our Journeys. The first match we run into is Eye of the Restless Storm in Sorcerer against Hekkoza. Hekkoza, yeah, the Deadly, who is currently in the Thief. Eye of the Restless Storm, sitting very high in legendary ranks, top 100, top 75, top 65, we might even say, and looking to close out a win here. Ooh, triggers a prophecy, but I mean, he is so far along, I'm not sure that he's got much to worry about. We might see Power of the Almsivi? Obviously, that's not a native card. Probably came from a Mud Crab Merchant. It might have happened while I was talking, in fact. But obviously, as we see that Eye of the Restless is only run Sorcerer, not Tribunal, there's no way that was a card that he built into his deck. We see Memory Wraith here, a card that gets a lot of love, especially with the Alduin Graveyard. Although I'm going to say, I have not seen, personally, I've not seen that. Now, I'm not active tons of time. So some folks may, be able to contribute a different opinion. But I have not seen a lot of the Alduin Resurrection nonsense in a lot of the games that we've seen. Not even a lot of Invade nonsense. I don't know if I've just been getting lucky and the games that we end up spectating are not in that vein, but on the whole, just, yeah, like I said, not really seeing a lot of that obnoxiousness. But Memory Wraith is a great card to play. 5/5 for 5, it's actually just a pretty darn good card. I mean, not if you don't have to worry about, if you never have to worry about graveyard shenanigans, that's fine, but there's just a lot of stuff that we've seen graveyards be able to do. And right now, it looks like Eye of the Restless is going to be able to finish it off the next turn with said Memory. Never mind, Guard comes down, and that opportunity evaporates. We'll probably never see Power of the Almsivi? It is almost never played. Because he obviously is going to want to do the power, which is probably why it was given in the first place. Oh my gosh. Ku is just really... Ooh. Worm King's Agent is going to be very helpful. And Ku is running out of cards. His only saving grace, when you have that little bit of health, I mean, you don't want Northwind out. Like, he had an aggro deck. I mean, Old Salty's Assault, that is an aggro deck. This is an aggro player who got out-aggroed by Eye of the Restless Storm and just is not going to have the mechanics to come back. That said, he is going to be able to put down yet another guard. And probably another one. And yeah, there we go. And the only good thing about that is it is guaranteed to give Eye cards. And Ku might as well just lean into it at this point. Like, the only chance he'd really have is to race. And I'm not saying that's a great chance, but yeah, we know, I mean, Worm King is going to survive, he's going to get another guard there. Ward, and this is going to demand more creatures be dropped, which I'm sure is not a problem. I mean, but Ku can't spend his entire turn on like a Halls, which he wouldn't. He's got 11 magic. He could play Halls and something else, but we'll see. Okay, so it's not a guard though. It's not a guard.
Do not fear me.
There's another guard. My goodness gracious. But fortunately for Eye, well, there you go. Sorcerer's Negation will get it done. He could have Steel Daggered, made that trade, and put those other two in. But instead, he's just going with the big old thwomp. So yeah, I'm actually, hopefully, we'll be able to see more. And we've queued in relatively early on. Well, not early on in terms of health and life, but not in terms of turn. We are in turn 7. But Amarillo Designs is at it with a Guildsworn deck. I'm seeing a Rest. I'm seeing a Hive Diviner. I don't know if this is just a solid mid-range Guildsworn build, or if there is a catch to it.
I will prepare something special for them.
Alright, well, that is not going to be coming back. Word Wall into a Sweet Roll. Amarillo definitely has a good a good jump on the board. Although, of course, as anybody who's played, especially once you see the altar, you know more than likely this is going to be a removal deck. And yeah, Aerostorm, I mean, just what the doctor ordered. I don't know who the doctor is in this particular case or why they ordered it, but it is an order. And with these word walls, I would not be surprised to see Call Dragons and other such shenanigans. So Amarillo, though, certainly has a lead right now. And there's there's Call Dragon. So looking for the easy win via Resurrection shenanigans. Amarillo, though, able to skirt that with his own Bit-O removal. So obviously there has been a Call Dragon played already. And now that's gone, of course. All those altars, boy. Amarillo hopefully running Belly G or the douche.
Reverse!
To get rid of at least one of those altars, because that's just way too much. I mean, if Saul just had those 3 cards and not the altars, I'd say Amarillo is in a great place. But as it is now, memory raid.
Let's see if we can find something.
Is there anything that he would not want to? He would want to make sure that. Not really. I think he's holding on to that. He knows. He knows what shenanigans are afoot. Let's see, I was commenting on his. Frost Giants. Interesting. Okay, one of his favorite cards. So, the Rest of the Storm. One of his favorite cards is Frost Giant. We'll have to take a look at that deck list. You don't really get to see that very often. Alrighty, and so Saul has got all the dirty tricks here. The Encano, not the Encano, the Marak. Ooh. Shoot. It's too bad that Arrest doesn't give you the properties of. It doesn't allow you to, it doesn't trigger a summon, because it would be great to yoink the Vicious D to arrest it and make it use its powers against the altar. Instead he steals Marak, so once again Marak will not be able to come back. Continue to hold on to that memory, and I 100% agree with that. There's, you know with this deck they're just going to be trying all kinds of shenanigans. I think what he's waiting for. Oof. Wow. Hallowed Death Priest. Turning the mighty Encano into a shriveled mummy, and then playing.
The power of the moons will be mine.
Now I know, having sat with through some of Amarillo's games with him. For those of you who didn't see it, we did a deck delve off of his Dagoth list. He takes all this in stride. He's a very good sport. Ooh. He can Marak Cal.
I will not be on the wrong side of history.
Yoink. My dragon now. Unfortunately, he doesn't spawn another set of Halls of Colossus, but Amarillo doesn't need it. Decides to plays that right there just to remove any possible recovery from the graveyard. Completely empty. And he is in really good position to be able to take this over. Pulls a shout. Probably going to be a Call Dragon. Unfortunately, unless it's Alduin, not really going to do a whole lot. Every single card except for the Harpy survives an Odavane. Cal does get shackled in his tracks. He's not going to be able to attack next turn. But like I said, Amarillo taken. I know he just kind of takes these in stride. I would probably be having a bit of a go. Oh, and that is a dead skeletal dragon. Well, wait. No, I guess it could pull back either of those. Okay. And it happens when it dies.
I will cleanse the dark stain of necromancy from Tamriel.
Goodness gracious, this guy's got magic for years. Magica, I should say. Good gravy. Alright. Amarillo, he can do 7, 8, 9. It's going to be... Oh, 10-11. Oh, man. So close with Camlorn Hero.
Dare face me?
One off. And the one thing he's got going for him, even though Sal does have those, or Sal does have these altars in place, not as likely, or it doesn't have to worry about Guardians, Aeolic Guardians, doesn't have to worry about crazy drain through like Blackhand Messenger and things like that. So
Give the king of worms my regards.
I mean, either one of these represent lethal. Oh, okay. A non-issue. Goodness gracious. That's a problem. That is a big old problem. Oh boy.
Believers shall flock to our noble cause.
Expect we'll see some really ugly synergy with All Dragon. Oh, and Drain. That's gonna be the big death knell. I mean, Amario's just really just getting close at this point. But... Ooh, pull back Nahagli. Do it. Bounce him back. Bounce him back. Come on. Unsummon Nahagli. He doesn't want to unsummon anything. Okay. Oh, there you go. And Amario, he can't even top deck an action. He would have to top deck Silence, which Earthbone qualifies. It's probably the only one he's likely to be running. Oh, could he get something from Blackmail? That would be Poetic Justice. Oh, no! I mean, very rarely would you be disappointed at finding getting a legendary, unique legendary, but...
It's my business to keep track of strangers.
Huge me. Ah, goodness gracious me.
The reach is ours.
Give the king of worms my
He's going to be able to get that 4 health break into the rune. Worst case scenario right now. And he pretty much has lethal next turn anyway. Okay, yeah, it's good game. Good game for Amarillo. Barring back-to-back lightning bolt prophecies, the game is over. Okay, well, at least he didn't get that. I mean, but still, I mean, everything else late game has gone very much in Sal's way. Perhaps, I mean, there's no way this is his gateway game. You don't get to have that kind of luck on your gateway, but I think at this point, Amarillo is just hoping that a rune break is going to give him what he needs. It's, oh my gosh, all 3 altars. Wow. But hey, if Saul plays with his food... Ooh, cannot be targeted by actions. Obviously, he could get hit by a silence. Well, and here's the thing. I mean, that's only 3 damage. Anyway. And oh, wow. Yeah, talk about drawing the bum end to your deck. I've been there many a time. Sometimes I have a visceral reaction to certain games just because I'm like, I've been right here. Although I've gotten to the point now where I would have conceded probably as soon as the 4/4 came out. Now, it would be wonderful to see Amarillo pull this off despite that, and to show people that this game is not cruel and unusual. But it is. Really? That's interesting.
A hard-fought victory.
Yeah. Okay. Good game, sir. And we've queued into a brand new, fresh game with Eye of the Restless Storm running his mid-range sorcerer, I guess would be the best term for it. Yeah, he said it in one of his lists. I don't think it's this one, but in one of his previous lists or an earlier list, he does run Frost Giant, which never gets a whole lot of love, unfortunately. Is it really 8 cost? I thought it was 10. Really, Frost Giant? Am I thinking about the right card? I'll have to look that up. I'm sure he knows. He knows better than I do. He actually runs it. I didn't run it only because it is a legendary. If I'm thinking of the right card, it's a legendary, and I just never really felt I had the luxury of crafting a card like that. That just, you know, I wanted to get the must-have legendary cards. But it's hard to make that argument when I then crafted like an Orc Premium deck or Premium Orc deck minus Headhunter. I have yet to craft a legendary. A premium legendary. It's so what is it, 4,800, 4,600, somewhere on there, gems. I just can't afford it. I've never been that rich in gems that I could do that. I mean, I have enough now to technically do it, but then it's just, you're just like, which one? You know, what do I do it? Which one? The ones that's gonna get the most play, like an Incano or Tazcat or Razzle-Dazzle? Do I do it for you know, something like the Alfie Conjurer that's going to spawn a second creature so that I've got 2 premiums for the price of 1? That's 2 for the price of 1. You know, what do I do? And of course, you know, if I'm Aeros, of course I do premium Alfiques. That's the first card I should craft a premium in. But you really need to have all 3, otherwise, if you have my luck, ooh, nice, timely. And that might have been the game right there. That prophecy, because Lasserman was really trying to make a push. Lasserman top 275. I love doing that. Like top 60, top 275. It's like, that's so arbitrary when they do that. Sometimes they're like, he's in the top 60 because he's, you know, 55. It's like, look, you got 100. I would say 200, 100, 50, 25, and 0. So Eye of the Restless in the top 100, but he's got another 9 ranks to go to get to top 50, obviously, because I can do math. And so we wait to celebrate that. But again, as we see, legendary card back. He's been in the top 10 before. Ties up the game with that hit. And now it's Lasherman's time to make a pretty big hit. Now playing defensively, as we see. Could use a Sorcerer's Negation on her to get rid of her completely, hit for 4. But you do have a big old Men-at-Arms. Oh, Shriek. He's got the Shrieking Harpy. Of course, he'll shackle him down. There we go. And is he going to wait to break that when he is? It's really hard not to get a little gun shy. Now, maybe he would have done that anyway. A lot of people have a general principle. It's like, hey, if it's only going to be 1 or 2 damage, it's not worth breaking a rune over, unless, you know, there are specific circumstances.
We'll see how they like
but it is harder, even if that's not your policy. It's even harder to try to push if you just hit a prophecy. 'Cause you're like, man, 1 more of those, and this game goes sideways. Because right now, as you can see, Lasserman has 15 damage, easily within range of lethal, considering we know he's running some item deck. Weapon items are the same difference. He's probably not going to break this one. He is going to shackle, though. Use the Harpy to shackle up the... Yep. So really, unlike the last game we saw with Amarillo, where the game was just going sideways in every which way possible, here Eye of the Restless has the right cards at the end to hold his opponent at bay. Lasherman, if I'm him, of course, I'm very frustrated. I'm watching the... Oh, goodness gracious. Now he's got a shackle for himself. It's not going to be enough, I don't think. 5, 9, 11. Oh, Eye has... Sounds like bad grammar. Eye of the Restless Storm has exact lethal. So he's probably going to... I would imagine he's going to try to attack... Well, here's the thing. Well, he could. If he traded these 2 and he could use the Worm King's agent to kill a Kier. So I'm thinking he's going to try to attack with his field lane first and see if he triggers a prophecy. Okay, and he does not. He is going to take this one. Well done, Eye of the Restless Storm. Kapow! And we join Krakatoa95. I feel like it's been a while since I've said that name. Mixing it up. on the ladder as well. He is looking to get out of the goofy Stay Puffed Atronach, and his adversary, Cheery 77 Samp? Not sure. Cheryl Samp? I'm not really sure. The Persistent is looking to get out of the warrior and into... Oh, I shouldn't say it that way. Looking to court the lady. Getting out of... away from the warrior. He's going to pursue a time of peace. Vicious D. Alright, so Krakatoa, let's see. We see a Journey, which is fantastic. I love that card. I like seeing it there. I remember when it first got nerfed. I was one of the poor people. I think I remember who it was, but since I'm not 100% sure, and even then I don't necessarily want to throw shade at it, I remember one of the Legend player that I watched was like, as soon as that nerf came out, he's like, this card is garbage, get rid of it. You know, they should refund the gems and everything, and sure enough, I did dust it, and I believe Bethesda did, in fact, refund the full cost of it. But it's still a good card. I don't even remember what it was. I think it was maybe 7/7 or something. I don't think it was a cost thing. I thought it was shuffle all creatures from your discard pile into your deck and give them... I don't remember what the nerf was. I just remember people saying that it was worthless after that, and I definitely don't think that's the case. Maybe it was a cost bump. Maybe from 6 to 7? I don't know. I can't think of anything really that would have made it unplayable, but I figured, better minds than myself knew better, but they ended up backing off of that. I think it was just one of those overreactions. It's like, I like this card, or maybe it was it prevented one particular shenanigan from happening, but certainly not destroying the card's general efficacy, and people got upset about that. All right, doesn't either. I might have punted the Thieves Go Recruit. Okay, so we're seeing from Krakatoa's discard pile, and I guess from this little Dust Eater that we see on the board, he is running a... This is interesting. It is a Journey to Gabo Town.
You must be cleansed.
Nice little combo there. That the little guy, what did I call him? A skirmisher? You don't really get to see that effect be relevant a lot of the times. Ooh, and not breaking that rune is really going to cost Krakatoa right now, unfortunately. But he does have the Soul Tear, and again, Journey is great, but boy, he really needs to fill up his graveyard. And that is the one problem with Journey. And, I mean, particularly, like, Gobos are typically more of an aggro deck. They don't have a lot of long-term play. And, I mean, with Soul Tear and things like that, I'm guessing Krakatoa has built this list to be more mid-range or even control. And we certainly know that Scout is the color control. Oh, the Poop Stone! No, gosh, why? Oh, that is the only consistent piece of garbage that I see on the board these days. Like I said earlier, not seeing a ton of Call Dragon. Of course, then we just saw it in that other game. I haven't seen Invade yet today. Just not the proliferation of it. But I think Poopstone has just increased in popularity somehow, and for some reason, I could not explain why.
I lurk in the shadows, waiting.
She does. She's literally lurking in the shadows, waiting. Hopefully she's not waiting for the pointy wall, because pointy wall isn't going to do anything. At least, I don't know, maybe the Poopstone player will give it a weapon of some kind. A weapon. It's crazy just how much you see this card now. I feel like it was kind of like, you'd see it in like 20% of the decks or something, and now I feel like it's almost like 40 or 45%. Almost half the time you see Poopstone come down. But as I said before, hey, you run it. It's a thing. Some people, if I was gonna, the only deck I think I would run a Poopstone in is if I went all in on RNG. Oh, Krakatoa, please, you must use your Shadowfen Priest.
You cannot.
For the only the only reason why Shadowfen priests were birthed into this world. Yes! Yes! Oh, so satisfying. Ah, that's great. Thank you, Krakatow95. Even if this game ends up being a loss, I'm sure it will not feel that way to you.
There is murder
Ooh.
in the air.
And yet another one. Now he's really starting to fill up that graveyard. That's a pretty good... Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. With
You trusted
2 of those. I mean, one of them being an Ungulum, Brotherhood Assassin, that's card draw, and creator of it. So yeah, this might be the time. He does yoink Dova of the Voice. But Dova of the Voice is going to get squished, I'm almost positive, by the Assassin. Actually, Mana Marco might be the one to get squished. Ooh, hopefully that does not silence the Brotherhood Assassin. Or mummify her. It does. That's one of those reminders. And maybe Krakatow had not planned on squishing anyway. It's a dangerous place, though, because Cheery, I'm just going to call it Cheery. Cheery the Persistent does have 12 damage on the board. Needs only 8 to finish it off, and of course we know there's Encano, Lightning Bolts, etc. Lots of ways to come up with those extra 8 points. So Krakatow's in a bit of a tight spot right now. But like I said, a moral victory. He did get rid of Mundus Stone after only, I think, what, two turns? So.
long range, a lot of skill. Steal from folks who ain't
Oh
used it.
goodness
That's the
gracious, that's a problem. That's a big old problem. So Krakatow might trade in and just journey. It's a Hail Mary because he's probably... That's...
key. You trusted me. How
Okay, cool. It's so hard because I know technically, and the reality of it is, it's good play. It's a smart play. You know you're going to lose a Mana Marco. You do this so you can bring something back. Like it's a smart way to play. But boy, it just feels rotten sometimes.
Likes these.
Ooh, he is going to break that rune to get it. But 10, 14, 15, still alive technically. But if we interesting. What just happened? Oh, because he gets the shout. No, wait. No. Oh, Singleton. Okay.
Steal
The
from
victory
folks
is
who ain't
yours.
used it.
Yep.
That's the key.
Yep. And man.
This episode is sponsored in small part by the Legendary Remnant Discord. If you are a TESL player and you want to connect with other TESL players, talk about deck builds, ideas you have for both cards and decks, to get feedback and just chat up with the community, join the Legendary Remnant Discord. We're here! Okay, I'll have to work on that later, but the primary sponsor for this message is The Completed Adventure, a card from the brilliant mind of Vincenzo. It's a 5-cost, neutral action, shuffle 4 payments into your deck, and you may scratch your head and say, what the heck is a payment? I asked the same question, but Vincenzo has the answer. A payment is a 0-cost action in neutral, of course, gain 2 magic this turn, and draw a card. First of all, I love this. I love the idea that we have the potential to give decks other than agility and willpower the chance to ramp, albeit temporarily. As we know, endurance holds the stranglehold on permanent ramping. Agility has abilities to generate completed contracts, which allow, Distiller is in Scout, so it's kind of both, but to generate temporary magic increases, whether it's a pilfer for that turn, whether it's generating contracts that can be used for that one turn only. But other than those 2 colors, really no ramping is possible. And to be fair, most of the other colors, like Dagoth, the cards have been, ideally, they have been balanced to account for the fact that you can't, these certain cards, like Hand of Dagoth and Dagother, they cannot exist in a deck without some shenanigans that also has ramp. So I think a lot of the things are balanced the way they are, taking that into account. But I don't think this breaks that too much, because it is not, the RNG factor is heavy here. It's shuffling those 4 payments in your deck. So unless, well, in my case, any of my opponents who play Ungulum or, Galeen, whatever his name is, however you pronounce it, my opponents always seem to manage to draw their assassin or their Galeen target within the next 3 turns. But in general, you could, in theory, have these 4 payments at the very bottom of your deck, so you may not see them at all. So it's a pretty significant cost. A 5 cost, that is pretty rough. A lot of people, when they talk about like the poop stone not being worthwhile, they don't dislike the poop stone because of what it does. They just think it's a bad card to play because it's a momentum killer on turn 4 if all you can play is a Mundus stone. That doesn't take into account if that opponent already has a decent board, if their opponent has bad draw, and so they can afford to lose that turn, or if you play it later in the game and you can play 1 or 2 cards after it that are automatically getting that value. This is another one where, but unlike Mundus Stone, or Poop Stone, why would I call it Mundus Stone? Whereas that one actually gives you know what you're going to get. You're going to get an extra keyword. This is 5 cost, and you don't know if you're ever going to see those cards again. If you're going to ever see those payments. So it's a pretty high risk, high reward, because on the upside, you could get 2 or 3 of these in your hand at some point later in the game. That's why I think it's not imperative that you would play this completed adventure on turn 5. In fact, you probably would not want to turn 5 is pretty big. That's where the game's really ramping up. If you're in aggro, which I don't think an aggro would play this anyway, but like mid-range, you're really vying for the board. You probably need that turn 5 to enable a trade or to balance things out or to address a threat. I don't know that you want to play it on turn 5. You're probably going to play it a little bit later. One, the back end of your deck is thinner at this point, so you have a better chance, in theory, of pulling that payment. But also because I think it's going to help those decks that you've got a lot you can do with just 1 or 2 more Magicka. If you just had an extra Magicka, but for a lot of decks, you hit that 12 Magicka point, you're done. That's as high as you're going to go. You're never going to get more than that. So, even if you have 2 cards in your hand that would be perfect, the perfect answer, they're 1 to 4 Magicka away, and there's no way you're going to do that. This card at least puts that chance in the deck, and it's, as you see, it is a rare, so that means you can have 3 copies of it in the deck, which is really cool. I love when people think of rare, but whenever I think of cards, I'm always thinking legendary or unique legendary. That's the glamour, the glitz. I like the fact that Vincenzo's thinking, hey, something that's rare. I think that probably suits it. I don't know what would require it to be an epic, maybe take away the RNG or some aspect of the RNG, but right now, shuffling in, I think that mitigates the overall payment. That said, there is something to be said for getting 2 Magicka and drawing a card, because usually that's kind of the balance. If a player gets a lot of Magicka up front, they may have burned a lot of cards. Like you've got you equip your crossbow and your the Archer's Gambit onto your Venom Tongue, and you do all your cool stuff, and you got a lot of Magicka, but you only have 2 cards in your hand now. So lots of Magicka, not a lot of cards. Or the other way around, you've got a ton of cards, but you've got a bottleneck of Magicka. You've only got 4 or 5 Magicka to play with, so you can only play 1 or 2 at a time, and so you can't really make use of it. So usually you would see a balance if either it's going to give you Magicka or it's going to allow you to draw. The fact that this does both, that's a bit interesting. Now that you could say that might be a little OP, but I think again that RNG factor mitigates that. Yes, you could have a high roll. If you have 2 or 3 of these in your hand, you've got three extra cards and 6 Magicka to play it with. That's going to be crazy, especially in a late game if you're trying to do rage combos and things like that. But I think the shuffle 4 Mavens. Now, you could make an argument that this needs to be a 1-of. Because I just for the fact that I just now thought of this. I think it's fine, because you have to determine when you're building your deck, do you want to have 3 5-cost cards that add nothing to the board, do nothing for the immediate game state? All it does is give you the potential to have a better late game. I think this is probably, I didn't see anything in the comments. I might have missed it, and if you were commenting, I do apologize. I didn't see any comments about this in particular, but I feel like this is for somebody trying to run a control deck in non-traditional control colors, like Dagoth. I mean, I know that there are Dagoth control decks out there, but they're not played necessarily as your traditional, ramp control type things. And maybe I'm speaking out of turn, maybe they do. I'm just thinking, when I think of Scout, when I think of Telvanni, it's build up that crazy Empire, even build up that huge Magicka, and then come off with your big guns at the end. Other deck can't really do that because you can only play 1 big something, later in the game. So I feel like this is just opening that opportunity for some late game shenanigans from other kinds of decks that right now aren't really doing a lot of late game stuff, encouraging more upper mid range or even control-ish type things in this. I think it's great. It gets my brain going. The jogging I'm going, is that 5? Is that 2? Does it cost too much? Bear in mind, we do have the Slit the Throat. It's not called that, but it's something the throat. Essentially, it's the 4 cost in neutral that gives you a card, draw a card, and silence a creature. And remember, neutral's not supposed to be great on value, so 5 might be too low for a neutral card that does all of that. Again, I do think RNG really, and I wouldn't say nerfs it, but I think mitigates the high end. It's as I said, high risk, high reward. Y'all can let me know what you think. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's a great idea. It's a great concept. Maybe a little balancing to make it happen, but I love the idea of getting a little bit more card draw and a little bit more Magicka into some other decks. I don't know what that would do to the balance, so that's one of my other concerns. Lots of goods, lots of pros, lots of cons, lots of possibilities. I love it. Makes me think. Vincenzo, thank you so much for contributing this. Thank you all for checking it out. And now, back to the games.
Okay. We have seen Poopstone's spiritual cousin, Yagram's Workshop. 2 of the most loathed and despised supports of all time. Calling it right now. And that's for a long time, really, that's all you spell. Like, if I ever saw a spell sword, you knew it was going to be spell sword neutral. You know, that it was going to be a spell sword using some of the key cards from spell sword, but that it was going to be mostly a neutral deck. And boy, oh boy, Nebuhe has the luck of the draw here.
Speak,
with
citizen.
A workshop early and a Halls of Dwemer almost uncurved, just a little bit. So we're hoping Zosby, which, oh my gosh, so I actually have a Hlaalu dragon deck, but I have it on the alternate account. I haven't been able to transfer it over. So I am strong. Oh my gosh, look at that Blighted Lit. I've never seen a premium of that. Wow, he is blighted and fiery. Fiery Blighted Lit.
Balin would protect us.
I can't say I have that card in my deck. Oh boy, come on, Zosby. I think that's how it's pronounced or said. Getting close to Odaving territory. And that's one thing, even with the Halls of the Dwemer, that only buffs up the attack. So they are still just as fragile. Not to say they're incredibly fragile, but a lot of them come down as 3/3s or something similar to that. They're not going to withstand the might of Odaving. So yeah, no, it's just great to see a dragon deck run in Hlaalu.
Kill them all.
I don't know why we're seeing this ugly piece of garbage, but what are you going to do? I can't... Oh, Mud Crab. Must have got it for the body.
The forest is
So shallow, he picked her for her body. Oh, speaking of picking somebody for their body. Pick-ow! Yeah, a little Mud Crab. Alright, so barring a workshop into Factotum Daddy Titan guy, I think Zosby's going to be able to close this out. He's not going with the Blighted Lit, interestingly enough. Thought he might do so. But Nebuhe, tons of cards. Let's hope one of them is not the Titan.
Rise, my
Okay,
servant.
he's not the Titan, so not the end of the world, but I'm sure he's got the guy, the 2/1 that is going to buff up the crab to a ridiculous size. Nope, does not. I guess he's just, unless I'm missing it, he's just going to be conceding here. That's a nice board, but okay, yep, okay, there is that guy. Luckily though, oh crap! Crap! All right, one turn off of Odaving too. Dag nabbit. I mean, the good news is, there's really not a lot of great news here. I mean, he does have the Leaf Lurker to get rid of some of the bigger stuff. That defensive Bromer, God, boo! I know that's not the most obnoxious card out there. Yeah. So let me start with this. I hate every single card in TESL, and then I'll back it off. Okay, I don't mind the Oreo Cookie Gal. I don't mind the Blaze Lookout. Thieves Guild is okay. Leaf Lurker. Stand by, and I'll probably announce some more cards that I don't hate. I mean, gosh, I mean, he... that actually wouldn't be a horrible rage in the field lane, because you know, with Odaving coming down next turn, and there's no workshop here, I think Zosby's going to be able to do it, so, yep. Breakthrough and Rage. Is that for lethal? It is! Ooh, Zosby! Oh my goodness gracious! Okay, Nick Mac also running a... Well, I don't know if you can call it a dragon list. I see a dragon. I see Cal. But I don't see a ton of other stuff. But Nick Mac, I believe this is our first time spectating Nick Mac. Okay, definitely dragons. So somehow Zap 18 yoinked, probably with Kitty here. Thieves Guild Shadowfoot yoinked Nick Mac's draw engine, Blades Lookout, which would you only put in a deck if you've got a bunch of dragons to trigger it. But we're not seeing a lot of dragons in his hand right now. Got Knight of the Hour. Lots of actions. So this is Control Dragon, I imagine. Hey, that rhymed. Control Dragon, I imagine. So Knight of the Hour, another card I don't mind. Galeen, don't mind. I do mind her. Boo! Boo! Go away, Dark Slusher, you and your goofy little
Repel the
grass skirt
outlanders.
and your crystal ball and your goofy hat. Yeah, shriek in pain and terror as you are banished from the board. You blight on humanity. And well, we got a game going. You know, sometimes I cue into these things and I think, okay. I mean, literally, unless one person or the other has a full board, it's their turn, and their opponent has, like, no health, you know, or 1 or 2 health or something. You know, these games take such wild and crazy swings. I'm afraid this Blood Pact is going to get executed. Or even Ice Storm. Zap 1800 is going to do whatever he's got to do to thwart this Blood Pact messenger. A guard is not going to do it, because Nick Mac will be able to silence or that. Yeah. Yep. He is. This is Zap 1800 is quintessential. Ooh, fantastic. Deformed Homer Simpson gets some value. Maybe he'll be able to buy himself a pair of pants. And so yeah, Zap 18 just seems to be content to just burn through removal. Nick Mac bringing back. Ooh, he says, Deformed Homer, we're just going to keep going. I mean, that's the thing. When you know your opponent's running just a crap ton of actions, removals, the Grummite's just going to get a lot of love. Go. Cal. Powerful Cal. Cal. That's actually what my Hlaalu deck is called, Cal Pals. Yes, you can be astonished at my ingenuity and wit. That's just fun. Because I think he's the big... In any dragon deck with that color, it's okay. And a very timely Shadowfen Priest. Not going to be enough if Zap is probably very much wishing he had those 2 removals that Nick Mac was able to get rid of. Ooh. And now he's got 3 targets on the board that Zap is going to have to deal with. And I don't think he can remove all of them. He can't trade there. He has to... Oh, for crying out loud. Piercing Javelin. Oh, it's got squish, doesn't he? Of course he does. Of course he does. Of course he does. That's all right. On borrowed time.
Mother of mud.
I mean, I hate to sound so overly like, obviously, I mean, I'm pulling for Nick Mac. Even if this wasn't his first game on the channel, which I think it is, and he wasn't running dragons, what he is, and Zap 1800 was not running the worst version of Telvanni, or a Tribunal that there is, which is just removal Telvanni, which he is. Even if that wasn't the case.
You cannot hope to outrun
Yeah.
destiny.
Okay, so we'll see a Piercing Javelin on the dragon, of course. Can't let that be allowed to live. And probably will keep Marak on the board. I mean, he could have, like, Dark Rebirth, which would say, okay, no, he's going to get rid of him. I was going to say, the only problem you'd run into then is all the resurrections. Because if he brings Marak back, he's undoubtedly going to take Cal, and that's going to probably... I mean, it's not the end for Nick Mac.
You trusted me.
Ooh, he's bringing back... Let's bring him back. Okay, now he does not have it. Obviously, Mute is going to be a... Okay, Dawn's Wrath. We might see that. We do see that. Is he going to hit? He's not. And it's very wise, too. One, he's probably waiting for a card to come down that he can play Crusader's Assault with to get some decent drawback. But he also knows he doesn't have anything to follow it up with. If he breaks that, gives him another card. You know, he doesn't have a way to finish it off. And if he's going to inadvertently give Zap, or not inadvertently, he's going to give Zap more. Oh man, he's going to give him more removal options, and then he doesn't have a board. He has nothing to work with. And the only thing, I mean, I could see him doing Covenant Plate and maybe Crusader's Assault just to get an extra card, since it doesn't look like Zap is inclined to put any cards in front of him. Ooh, I would have saved the douche though, because you still have whatchamacallit, amulets. All right, Call Dragon. Not thrilled to see it, but at least this is a dragon deck. This is not a shout deck that we're going to throw Call Dragon in to bail us out on turn 8. It is a legit... And there's the arrest.
Ajit is having a good night.
I don't know how removal decks become popular or well used. I actually tried it at one point just to see, and it was the most abysmal outing I had with pretty much any deck. Oh, Swiftwing. Doggone it. Yeah.
I know a shortcut.
All right. Good, 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 good. What? Zap 1800, whose deck is comprised 90% of removal. Does he have enough removal to keep the sheer point? Another one. Nope. Oh, please tell me that's what you're going to... No squish! Nick Mack for the win! Well done, Nick Mack.
You swim in troubled waters.
Yep. Yep. That was the third seducer, and she didn't have squish. Nicely done. And they joined Wilhelm. Wilhelm the Miraculous, running Assassin. Looks like... I don't know if you'd call it Burst Assassin. Purely, but it is certainly Aggressive Assassin. Yeah, Nick Mack, it was a bit scary. Yeah, that's one of those games. I mean, you know it's not locked down, but you're just waiting for that one pivotal card to come down. Like I said, if in that last game he'd had a, maybe one less removal and played, I don't know, Dark Rebirth and Miract Cal, although he did ultimately steal Cal via arrest. Anyway, great game. Yeah. All right, Fox 7 Pro. Obviously running it. Well, I don't know. Obviously, when I see these guys, the little Rising Horror. Wow. Okay. All right. Little. Wonder if he's running like a Shackle. What is it? Drez Tormentor.
Try something.
I don't know. We got Razzle takes the field. He's gonna punch him in the face. Ooh, he's actually gonna purposefully break a rune on that too. Okay, Midnight Burial. So, I am not hungry because I'm eating my words from earlier today. Every single archetype except for Invade that I said I didn't see anymore or I hadn't seen much of, we are now seeing it here. We're seeing Midnight Burial, no doubt, with the Alduins and the what have yous. But this is, I was actually right, at least in my theory. This is a, well, at least I think so. It is a, what do you call it? Sacrifice deck, like a deck where it's like you get, oof, okay. I mean, a little early to play that, I would say. Ideally, you'd probably want that third rune broken before you start draining that much. Or, well, actually, no. Okay, I take that back. Because of Wilhelm's formidable board, had he not gotten those 6 points of drain, this might have been GG. It might be GG anyway because of Tazcad. 7. No, he's going to be a little short. So we'll probably see Shrieking Harpy or Icy Shambles. Either way. And either Queen or Brynjolf. Or maybe just Cliff Racer, because Cliff Racer sets up Tazcad next turn, even if this entire board gets wiped. Which, with the exception of Mournhold Trader, and now the Prankster Mage, they could buy an Ice Storm. Ice Storm could be problematic. Could have been problematic. But 9 points of damage will survive. And there's Midnight Burial. Oh, don't. And he's doing Alduin, and if he's got... That's why I was saying Cliff Racer would have been ideal. So, oh no! Wait. So which one are you going to play? Or does he not have Resurrection? He doesn't have Reanimate. Wow, Wilhelm, nice. Circling back around to Eye of the Restless Storm, who is top 60. Up against Careless. Careless. Ha! Careless! You see? You say I figured it out. It's a clever name. Actually, that's really cool because, especially when you capitalize the L, it's really hard to... But no, Careless. Careless. I don't know if it technically works without the other S. Because it could be Careless. But I think once you sort out the care part, you figure the rest out. Ooh, two. Speaking of premium Alfiq conjurers, Eye of the Restless happens to have those. And see, they do look pretty darn good. And you see, it does give you this really snazzy secondary premium. You can get the same effect from the 2 costs 2/2 that if you play him on turn 5, he spits out the Flame Atronach. But that's pretty darn cool looking too. Kitty's eyes are aflame. Atronach is aflame, so of course it's also a flame. Also a flame. I don't know why I talked like that. Okay, Careless. I was going to say, I mean, obviously, you know, he's only going to be running 1 copy, or can only run 1 copy of like Ice Storm. But those 2 guards are going to be pretty much what he needs. So we'll probably see him go ahead and trade the Flame Atronach in so that his Alfiq Conjure spits out a 7/5 with Ward. Important to note here that Careless not only has a clever name, backbreaker at this point in the game. So he can do the Conjure and the Memory Wraith. So maybe not backbreaker, because he is going to be bringing a lot of firepower this turn. Total of 12. Well, no, that's 10. That's 15. But Brynjolf is going to bail him out a little bit. And, I mean, if he's got a Mentor's Ring, that's going to help a little bit. We'll have to wait and see. But that might be just enough to put Eye of the Restless Storm over. If not, if we see, like, start seeing amulets and things of that nature, it's going to get pretty hairy, as he has no cards to play with at the moment. But Careless, as you can see, also a top 10 player. So this is not a throwaway game by any stretch. Eye of the Restless, as we've seen, this Sorcerer deck is very effective. And he's been playing it with great efficiency. And so the fact that he's gained this much ground on Telvanni, particularly this late in the game, is not unexpected. Oh boy. This is where things start getting a bit tricky. You're going to be up to 9 health, and Eye of the Restless. At this point, the best he's going to be able to do, as things stand now, is 5. Now, granted, Brynjolf goes down. Unless he gets resurrected, in which case, he'll be back.
You cannot match Telvanni.
Okay. Does not happen. What does he trigger? What does he get? Oh, guards. Exactly what is needed. That is phenomenally bad luck. Well, phenomenally, yeah, just unfortunate. Oh, Cunning Ally. Great. Get rid of this turd muffin.
Let's do this.
Oh, no. Oh, she whiffs at the critical moment. She is not a cunning, nor is she an ally. She is a traitor. She should be transmogrified into a traitor guy, Mournhold traitor. Surprise! I suck. That's a hard part, man, and that's why, like, for me, if I run like heavy blues, if I'm gonna run her, it's got to be in like a 97, 99%, 100% intelligence deck, just because, you know, those times where you really need her to pull through. And unfortunately, the big guy is going to go down. The only saving grace is that Careless does not have Drain on the board at the moment. Had to burning through some cards. Interesting list from Careless, because, well, obviously. Ooh, Eye of the Restless. That's hard. It's a 4/4 body. You want to put it down, but you know Dark Seducers. There are so many cards that Shadowfen helps, especially when you get a Lynette coming down, and you know she's going to pull back. Guaranteed is going to pull back something drainy. So hopefully, Eye of the Restless has another card he can play this turn. This coming up turn, just to put something on the board, because guaranteed he's going to want to use that Shadowfen next turn. Barrowstalker is not what I was thinking of.
I smell the stench of the living.
Fantastic card against a heavy aggro deck. Allows you to stay in the game. Okay, so I was wrong to no one's surprise, really. Interesting did not... Well, not that it would have mattered. So Shadowfen, I mean, but care less, you gotta believe he's got 1,001
Watch yourself now.
ways to get rid of these, to silence them, to remove them, to shackle them. But here's hoping. Here's hoping.
Drown in the river of battle.
There you go. Even a silence wouldn't get it done this time. Alright, the only thing he's got going for him is he doesn't have an amulet, so he's killing off creatures, he's doing what he's got to do to try to stabilize, but he
You've not seen my light.
did not have a backbreaker yet. But all it's going to take is a Dark Seducer or probably Guardians, and that's going to be the end. But here's hoping I can pull this out. And that works on both of them. I can pull this out, or Larissa Storm can pull this out. Okay. I guess that makes sense, because I believe this is a singleton deck, right? We saw... Nope. Oh yeah, Risen Dead's not it. Yeah, it's a singleton deck. So he was hoping to get that off of a siege. But he did not. And by gum, just all the answers in the world. I mean, it helps when you have 9 cards.
A few drinks, a few laughs, and a card.
I don't think he's gonna... Yep. The Restless just saying there's no way. And for our last game of the day, we have the privilege of seeing Banana Schwaaard Friends, Master of Dragons, playing against Bilderberg Slayer, a top 10 player with the spiffy card back to match. And let it not be missed that Banana Schwaaard has a top 100 card back. So also, obviously, just a fantastic player anyway, but obviously you can see this beautiful spiffy premium deck. That's the only bummer with... Oh, wait. Yeah. When I was playing on the iPad, the problem, one of the bummers is you miss... because of the orientation screen size of the iPad, it cuts off right about there, so you just see the tip of your card back. So you really only get to see it when it's first played, and then in the few times where it's it's made visible for whatever various reasons, but you don't get to actually look at it. So my motivation for getting nifty card backs has kind of diminished. But this is an event, and as we can see. Armory. After summoning a creature here, a random friendly creature gets +1/+1.
Step and strike. Good.
So yeah, some RNG there. You don't know which one. Oh, and then what is stockpile? Barracks. 4 power more, draw a card. All right. So a lot of things to consider here. But I would say Banana Schwaaard has a great... What's this again? 4 health or more. 4 power or more. So East March could draw 2 cards, playing him in the Shadow Lane. No, he has to break a rune for... Oh, that's probably... He probably wants to play East March, but he would have to ignore this demonic Goofy. Uses his Dawnbreaker. This is a great card to have for this. Because it, when it triggers, it spawns. And you can tell Bilderberg is on the back foot, really. Banana Schwaaard did have the ring, so he definitely had the advantage there. But you don't have this card in there just to be playing, raw like that. You really want to play her as a plot. But when you've got this amount of firepower facing down, it looks like Banana's just going to run away with this one. Don't put him over there. Why'd you put him over there?
Wait, did you hear that?
Put him over there. Ooh, unfortunately it gives the buff to a card that is already swung.
Time to join the
But yeah, this is definitely heavy in Banana's favor. He's going to have two card draw off of this. And Bilderberg just doesn't have enough Magicka to deal with all of that. Best case, he could Javelin the 8/3, which he does. It's going to keep him alive for another turn. Ooh, but Resolute Ally, gonna be huge. That's gonna give everybody +1 and an extra +1. Oh no, he chooses not to go that route. Unless he's also going to Resolute Ally.
Steadfast, brothers.
And that one. He's a far better player than I, so take it as he knows what he's doing. Oh, Bilderberg, no. Really? Oh, come on, Build-A-Bear. Come on, Build-A-Bear Slayer. Don't go away sulking. Don't go sulking in a corner, Build-A-Bear. That's just... I mean, come on, top 10 player, really? Like, come on. Like, that. There is a bit of responsibility that goes with that card back. When you show up with a top 10 card back, you are supposed to be representing the best that TESL has to offer. Not only in gameplay, my friends, but also in sportsmanship and conduct. And this is not befitting a top 10 player. You should be able to lose your card back for this kind of nonsense. If it can be proven, if it can be demonstrated, if it can be shown that this is the kind of shenanigans you're pulling. Now, I don't really believe that because, look, this is based on merit. This is based on being a turd muffin. But still, you know, it's the principle of the thing. You hate to see somebody with this status in the game behaving like this. Now, knowing Banana Schwaaard, he's just kind of taking it in stride. He's a good guy. He's got a very level head. I mean, Build-A-Bear could have just forfeited the game earlier. I mean, yes, he had it rough. Banana Schwaaard came out firing, had the ring, made some great plays. This card is a great one to have on the board for this particular setup. So between good luck and good building and good plays, had a huge lead. I would have probably conceded on turn 5 myself, or 4 at least at the very earliest. I mean, but this is just unnecessary. So Build-A-Bear, hopefully you can find it in your heart to just grow up a little bit. Yeah, but let that not take away from the victory of Banana Schwaaard. Nicely done, sir. Nicely done. And that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for those who put your prowess on display for all to see. Thank you for being good sports to those of you who can lose with dignity and win with humility. And until next time, keep playing.